Okay, so this is your boy Jay McLovin from Unscripted, also on Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, coming to you today as I'm about to enter my first barbecue cook-off. That's right, I'm gonna do my first barbecue cook-off, and with me I have Melanie, who is my fiance, soon-to-be wife. One day when we're all old and gray, we'll go down the road. But until then, she's my fiance / wife. I just call her my wife. She's my work wife. She's all kinds of things. But anyway, with all that being said, she is going to show you what we're doing currently. By the way, in this cook-off, we are doing pork ribs, we are doing chicken, and then the big boy, we're going to do a brisket. Now, as you can see right here, this rack of pork ribs has the membrane taken off. This rack of pork ribs, you can see the membrane is starting to come off, but we got to get all of this off. And the reason why you want to take that membrane off, Melanie was telling me, is because it helps the meat be more tender, more juicy, and less tough. And we don't want tough ribs. We want those juicy, nice, tenderized ribs full of flavor. And as you can see, she's showing you how to pull off that membrane. You definitely want to make sure you get that off before you put this bad boy on your grill and before you marinate it. Again, you could cook this with it on, but it's just going to give you a little bit tougher meat. And we don't like tough meat. We like good quality tenderized meat. So with that being said, while Melanie is putting our ribs into their container, I want to walk you over here what we'll be using today. I'm not going to tell you the marinade. I'm not going to tell you the seasoning that I use for a rub, because that you got to pay for. This you're getting for free. Okay, this you're getting for free. So again, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you want to take a rub, and then we're going to rub all of the meat with this rub. Don't do it quite yet, Mel. And then we're going to come back when the cooking is actually going on, and then we start marinating while we're cooking. This is the marinade I'm going to be using. Now, there's a lot of marinades out there. You can go on the internet, you'll find 1,000 different barbecue and marinades. Go to HEB, you'll find 1,000 as well. So, but that's what we're going to use for the brisket. This will only be used on the brisket. When we do the chicken and the ribs, we're still going to use the same rub, but we're going to go over it with a homemade barbecue sauce that Melanie made. So we're going to have our own barbecue sauce. That's what we're going to be basting the chicken and the ribs while we're cooking them. The brisket will have its own marinade, which you can see right there. Oh, I gave you a slight peek to it. Did you catch it? If you didn't, that's okay. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. Right now, Melanie is putting on her gloves, as we are very sanitary in this household. All of us have washed our hands. All of our meat has been, or is going to be cleaned and washed before we rub it down. And now Melanie's going to rub down the ribs. I'm going to do the brisket. Melanie's going to do the ribs and chicken. And I'm going to do the brisket. So again, without showing you the rub, this is how we're rubbing it. And then you just, exactly what it is, you rub it into the meat. You rub it into the meat so it really adheres to the meat, and it also starts the soaking process of the rub. So you really want to get it good and worked in on those ribs. I think the two biggest secrets to barbecuing and smoking is your rubs and marinades, as well as your wood. You want to have a good quality wood, pecan, cherry, apple, live oak, pecan, hickory, mesquite. All of those are good woods to use for flavor when you're smoking the meat. But we'll get more into that here in a little bit. So now we got our ribs all marinated up, or I should say rubbed up. We'll put that in the refrigerator for about 24 hours. And then tomorrow, those bad boys, they go on the pit. God, I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome time. Next, we're going to go over to the chicken. Do we have a container for this chicken already?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we have our containers for the chicken, which I will now bring over here. So we can open them up, place them in. Matter of fact, no, if you want, well, you're washing your hands. Say again, always washing hands. whenever you're cooking, make sure you're washing your hands. So now Melanie will, because you don't want to cross-contaminate from pork to fowl to beef to all the other stuff. So you want to, in between your meats, make sure you're washing your hands. Am I right on that, Melanie? Is that a good, helpful tip?
Yes, wash your hands.
Okay. Now, while Melanie gets ready, I'm going to start cutting open the chicken. I'm only going to cut it open. Melanie will actually deal with it. Because that's what we do here in the McMahon household. You can only have one chief and a bunch of sous chefs. Again, these knives, if you haven't gotten a good Zwilling knife, these knives are amazing. I didn't have to do anything. That plastic just fell off. So it's a good knife to have in your accoutrement of accessories.
And you notice he cut plastic while I was not in here with my good knife. I would typically use kitchen scissors to cut the plastic.
Okay, next time I'll use kitchen scissors.
Instead of using the blade of my knife to cut plastic.
God, I'm gonna live that one. I'll never live that one down. All right, Melanie. While I grab the scissors for you to cut that open, I will let you tell them about what exactly it is you're doing now.
I'm just opening the chicken.
All right.
We've got one bigger chicken and one smaller chicken here. I'm not sure how much they weigh each. Altogether, it's 8.5 pounds. But I like smaller chickens better because I just think they are more flavorful. And I don't mind cooking several smaller chickens as opposed to cooking one big chicken.
Now, you're cooking smaller chicken, so obviously I'm assuming the cook time on the pit will be less because of them being smaller. I don't imagine it being a whole lot less, but
yeah, it'll be a little less. Really, you're looking to get that good smoke flavor into the chicken before you want to wrap it up and let it cook just in the heat. All right, so when you pull out a whole chicken, usually there's a big thing of fat there. Sometimes there are things inside like livers, hearts, necks. You got to get all that stuff out.
As long as you don't run into the pooper chute.
Well, that's gone. It's already taken out.
Oh,
so then I just rinse the chicken off really well.
So what you're seeing right now, what we're doing right now is the preparation time. We're doing all of our prep work right now for tomorrow. We actually start the cooking process. We have to turn all this stuff in by 10 a.m.
Saturday morning,
and this is now mid-afternoon or early afternoon on Thursday. So we're going to marinate Thursday into Friday. The chickens and the ribs and the brisket will all go on at various times throughout Friday and into Saturday morning, where then we'll rest it, cut it up, package it up, and send it off to the judges for them to give us their verdict.
Yeah, this one didn't have any stuff in it.
Didn't have any stuff. How do you know it's a real chicken? It could be one of those artificial things that they're making now in labs.
Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
I don't know if I trust that chicken, but we're going to roll with it. If HEB says it can be eaten, I guess we're going to roll with it. Yeah, so I think she's just checking to make sure that she's got everything out, everything clean.
Okay, get a good picture right there inside. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but this part right here, those are like the kidneys in the chicken, and so I like to take those out because sometimes they can give kind of a bad flavor to the rest of the chicken. So I just kind of scrape it. It's stuck pretty good to the backbone, and then just rinse it out.
Like she said, make sure you're digging in there and getting those kidneys out so you don't get that bad flavor into your meat. The last thing you want to do is go through all this work only to have that one little step missed and not give you the desired taste.
They're going right there.
So it's right there along that spine, right before the butt.
Yeah, so that's the kidneys out. They're already out of the other ones. I did that a minute ago. All right.
All right.
Can you hand me some of those paper towels, please, Jason?
I sure
A
will.
handful, about 3 or 4 paper towels.
I'm just gonna take the whole roll. You just take what you need.
Okay.
There you go.
So I'm just gonna pat this chicken dry a little bit because I don't want it, when you put the dry rub on it, you don't want it to like make
Paste up, like make a paste or
make
something.
a paste, or it doesn't have to be perfect.
Because it won't really be good and fully absorbed if it's just going into water, right? It would kind of weaken down the flavor, maybe.
Yeah, you just want it to be dry. The rub will stick to it better. It might seem like it would stick to it better with it a little damp, but actually it just kind of washes off.
So again,
So
when
I've
you're
got
rubbing
this-
chicken, she puts it in a plastic bag, a gallon-sized plastic bag.
I'm gonna put my gloves on. Do I have to wash my hands really good? This is a
No,
2
your
gallon
hands are
bag.
clean because you washed them.
This is a 2 gallon bag.
Hey, which is another reason why, as soon as you're done with one meat product, going to a different meat product, wash your hands right afterwards. That way, if you do forget to put on your gloves, your hands are clean. So now Melanie has really rubbed that chicken nice. It'll sit in there and get good and marinated,
Put the other,
or good and rubbed in, marinated.
put the other chicken in there too. With the big bag.
All right, so she's got both chickens in there now. We're gonna sprinkle it on the other chicken. Rub it in all nice and good. Again, I'm giving you the techniques. You can find your own flavorings or rub seasonings or make your own seasonings even for that fact. That way, no chicken is ever the same. But the techniques are the most important part. Once you get the technique down, then you can really find your own flavor and find your own taste palette for your food. But without the proper techniques, all that really doesn't matter.
Okay, that's
My mama said you can never have 2 Jasons in the world, Mel. You only have one. The world wasn't big enough for 2 of us.
of course, baby.
All right, so what's our next step, Mel? Are we going to close this bag up and put it in the refrigerator like
Yeah,
that?
that bag's gonna get closed up and put in the refrigerator.
Do we want to take all the air out of the bag before?
Yes. Here, I can do that.
So I'll watch. So again, she's continuously washing hands. I really want to point that out because the last thing you want to do is A, number one, get somebody sick, or B, number two, have a bad product because you didn't do all the right things.
Okay,
So
so here's the chicken.
now we got the chicken. Put it next to the ribs.
Chicken.
So now you got the ribs. Now you got the chicken. Now we're gonna go to the big bad boy, the brisket. Melanie, I'll let you take this part while I do the brisket.
Okay, can we pause it for a second?
No, it's okay. I can do it. Where's the scissors at?
In the sink.
I should wash some scissors. Yeah.
And then we're gonna clean the sink out too, so you're gonna open it over here in the sink.
I am gonna open it over there. I'm just putting.
We have
What are you doing?
just rinsing out the sink really well so that we can move on to the next thing. I don't want to. Just rinsing it out. We'll clean it with bleach here in a few
That's to
minutes.
keep any cross-contaminated juices from going from one meat to another meat. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lay a beef product where you just had pork laying.
No, but you're just gonna take it right out of this bag and put it right onto this. So
I'll let you keep talking. I'll just.
you hold that for a minute, and then I'll have it as your job. All right. So I like to wrap the whole brisket. So I usually take 2 pieces of the large aluminum foil.
Now this is a really good trick. So watch what she's doing because this really does come in handy when you're going to be wrapping it later on, even for the second half of the cook process.
So I just take the 2 pieces and line them up, and then I fold them to make like a little seam, almost like you're sewing it together. So then you've got that seam, and it's really gonna hold that together a little bit better. And then I just put this on my sheet pan, and then I'll open the brisket and lay it right on top of this. And you can see I got plenty of surface area here to to cover.
Make sure you're giving yourself enough aluminum foil to really go way over that pan, because you got to remember there's going to be juices and all kinds of stuff in there. And usually, depending on how big your brisket is, you're going to have a lot of surface area there to cover.
So I'm going to move this over here by the sink so that Jay can start on the brisket.
Look at that bad boy. When you're selecting your Mel, come here. You give him a little crash course. When you're selecting your brisket, what exactly are you wanting to look for?
It just depends on what kind of brisket you want to cook. Some people like to trim the fat off and then render it down and use it later. I just leave everything on there. So you've got the knob end, I think that's what they call it, and then you got the side that has more fat on it. I like to try to get one that will bend pretty easily.
And correct me if I'm wrong, on this part of the brisket, the meatier side, which is this side, which had the bigger fat on the bottom, that's the point.
Yeah.
And this is the side of the brisket. You want the thicker side of the brisket to be facing towards
the fire,
your smoker box.
Yeah.
So that way, this part right here, because if you put this side, if you put the thinner side down, then you're going to get all that fat off long before over here, so it won't cook evenly, right? Is that kind of the big promise?
And you can, like, while it's cooking, it's kind of like, right now it's not really, you can't really see it that much, but you can see while you're cooking it on this end where you've got all this good fat, it'll start to render down, and that's where you're going to get that nice black char on the outside of it. And then if you watch, but you have to watch this end, the thinner end, because it will tend to dry out while this end is still cooking. So you need to like keep a spritz bottle or something out there, or your mop, whatever you're using, and keep that end from drying out. So you need to continuously like spritz it with a little water or mop it to keep the smaller end.
I'm more of a fan of mopping than I am spritzing. That's just kind of more me, but
Depends on what it's doing.
yeah. So again, we should be having this one, as soon as we get this one all rubbed up and put into the cellophane, then we'll take all three of these, put these into the refrigerator and let them sit for the next 24 hours. And then we'll open these bad boys up and we'll get it going. And you'll get more of that in the next video when we start talking about preheating your grill and things like that. We'll get more into how that all works. But for right now, we're gonna bring it back over here. We're gonna knock out this rub. Did we switch up rubs?
We switched up a little bit because we're almost out of that one, and we're gonna mix them up.
Okay. Are you gonna mix this with this?
Probably makes sense. Yeah. I'd use the rest of that and then add on this one.
Okay. So
It's up to you though.
Oh, that's fine. So the first thing we need to do is, you want to hold that? I'll just cut this out of the plastic.
Yep. Here we go.
For sure. Scissors that.
They were in the sink. Oh, here they are. Because I washed them, laid them over there.
Yeah, I love that. Always washing, always cleaning as you're going through the entire process. I can't stress that enough, man. That's such a huge thing to keep cleaning long after, even when you're in the cooking process, you're still continuously trying to maintain a sanitary environment. Mel, when they're selecting a brisket, how much blood do they want in the bag? A lot, medium?
Minimal blood. You want to see some red in there, but if it is like overly red, like really soupy, it's probably been frozen at least once or twice. So the least blood you see in it, the better, because it means it's probably a fresher brisket. But then again, you're going to have a little bit in there. You can see how there's some in there. But
there's not much blood in there. It's a little bit. You're going to have a little bit, but you know, this is a really, really good brisket. In terms of the fat, the back fat, in terms of the marbling, in terms of the amount of blood, all the things that you look for, this brisket really has a lot of those qualities in it. I gotta do this. Okay. But I was gonna use the rest of that other one first.
Yeah. Just kind of use both of them together. Like, I think it'll be good like that. And one thing that you may not realize is, like, As opposed to when you're like salting your food to eat regularly, when you put on a dry rub, you really want to cover it well. Like you need to get a good coat on there where you can see that color in it really well. You don't want to be stingy on your dry rub, because that's where it's going to put that flavor into your meat, and you're going to get that nice crust on the outside while it's cooking.
As you can see, I poured it in my hand because I really, like she said earlier, I really want to make sure that it gets good and rubbed in there, not missing any spots. I really put a lot around that knob because that knob has got so many crevices and it goes a million different directions. That knob does.
Yeah, I don't ever trim my briskets. Some people do. It's just your own personal choice.
We trim it down once we start cutting and slicing and presenting it, then we probably put
Yeah, I don't trim it before I cook it.
We'll do a little bit on there just because part of it is presentation and they want a nice, beautiful looking thing, whatever. All right. What do you think, Mel? Is that pretty good?
Just a little bit more right there. There you go. And then just rub it down into this side. There you go. I think that looks really good. It looks good.
Yeah?
Yeah. We have my trash.
Wash my hands now. Hey, don't afraid to get dirty in the rubbing process, because this is where the magic is. If you don't have this part down right, all them hours that you're going to be out there spending, smoking this thing, thinking you got a great product, if you don't get this part right, then you really just wasted a lot of your time out there for nothing. Because you're not going to get the overall outlook or effect you're trying to get. All right. So then we'll wrap this bad boy up. Well, I love watching it. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Makes you all happy inside.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't that make you happy?
Yeah.
Because when you start smoking it and you start seeing that mahogany and then it goes to that char, man. That's when you know you're a pet master.
There we go. We've got it all wrapped up good. So now these are going to go in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll pull them out in the afternoon tomorrow, because you always need to remember to pull your meat out early, because you don't want to ever put ice cold meat straight out of the refrigerator on the smoker, because you're just fighting yourself. You want your meat to come almost to room temperature before you put it on the smoker. So you want to let it set out for an hour or so before you get it on the heat.
All right, folks, it's your boy Jay McLovin from Unscripted on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network with video number 1, the marination process, or I should say the rub process. Tomorrow, we'll come back with more videos where we're going to show you how to preheat the grill. We're going to show you how to build your firebox, the whole 9 yards before you even put the meat on there. And then, so we're going to go through this whole process step by step, hour by hour. And we'll make all videos between the before and the after, and you will see the final pieces put into the styrofoam containers that I have to turn them in. So stay tuned for more of this project here on Entertainment Sports, or Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. It's your boy Jay McLovin. Thank you.